And we should be live at this point. So it is 10 p.m. This is the HODL Report, once again streaming live Wednesday evening. Looking forward to a phenomenal talk tonight. We've got two great guests from the community that will be joining us. For all those of you that are logging in and restreaming and watching the replay, we always take a few minutes here to let people bounce into the room and say hello, and also make sure that we're streaming efficiently and making sure there's no technical glitches. But we do have a lot of great things to talk about, and as we all probably tuned in and saw, obviously there's no lack of things to talk about when it came to what went on in Congress for the past 2 days with Facebook, starting with David Marcus over the past 2 days, starting in the Senate and then moving over to the House. So we're going to really get into that, and we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about that. And we will have two great guests with us tonight. So let me, as I'm walking through this, I am going to pull one of our guests in. So we're going to have Gaming Crypto XRP with us this evening. He'll be with us until about 10:30, and then we're going to bring in Crypto Sifu. So before we do that, I'm just working to pull everybody online here. Let me get to our dashboard, and then while I'm waiting for that to come up, I'm going to pull Gaming Crypto into the chat. Here we go. 1 second. All right, now let's see. I should have, you know what? I need to, there we go. All right, Gaming Crypto, I've got you live and online, and everybody should hear you.
Hey there. How's it going, everybody?
Awesome. You know, I'm really real excited to have you on because I know you've been, you know, a definite contributing member of the community, adding a lot of value, a lot of comments. Really appreciate, you know, all the time that you take to sit and watch what I have to say, and I know you've been, you know, following others as well. Definitely want to find out a little bit more, and you know, we have a lot to talk about. I want to talk a little bit about what went on in the circus over the past couple days. Before we get into that, just kind of a little summary, you know, about yourself, so we get a little background on how you got into digital asset and, you know, kind of how you found the space.
Okay. Well, I didn't actually get into space until like the end of February of 2018. But I've been in IT for many years, going on about 15 years. And, you know, I really wish I had jumped on Bitcoin back when, you know, I was removing viruses that actually had a virus, you know, that required Bitcoin for you to, you know, decrypt it, have it decrypt.
Mm-hmm.
And, but, you know, I didn't have, you know, financial means. I wasn't really interested in, you know, finances or anything like that. It wasn't until, you know, later that, you know, I kind of got interested. You know, like I said, I jumped in about February 2018, and, you know, it's been going down ever since. So,
Yeah.
but, you know, the news is great. And, you know, honestly, just looking at how everything's really coming together, I just don't see how, you know, people don't see XRP being, you know, the standard.
That's it, you know, and I think that was, you know, I believe, you know, that's really part of the debate, you know, over what we've heard, you know, for the past couple of days, and really, you know, leading up to, you know, when we saw, what was her name, Presley, you know, going through her Q&A the other day when they had Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, there, and it was just interesting because a lot of the talking points that she had were really very consistent with everything that's Ripple. And then it unfolds going into, you know, this circus with David Marcus from Facebook over the past couple days.
Yeah, and, you know, definitely DNA was right. You know, I mean, the guy had just basic canned answers, and honestly, how could he answer a lot of those questions? You know, I mean, it was really, you know, just a hammering of Facebook, and I really enjoyed it for that. You know, I personally think Facebook is going to be taken down and split up, you know, in many ways. So we'll see what happens, but
Yeah,
hopeful.
Yeah, exactly. There's definitely a lot of turmoil that can definitely unfold in this space, and really, there's one, primary, to that point, and as I looked at it, and I look at the answers from David Marcus, and like you said, there were a lot of answers he just couldn't answer. They kept putting him on the spot, and I saw it was interesting. We were talking about this, right before we got on here, but I saw a very distinct divide, in the way the Democrats were asking questions and the way the Republicans asked questions. And that was true from the Senate as it was in the House. And the Democrats, I felt, were coming from a position of spite and vengeance, and they weren't really digging for answers. And they were very, very well scripted as they came out and they said, will you commit to delaying your project? Will you commit to, whatever it might have been? And they didn't ask questions. They were lecturing to them and they were pointing fingers. Now, as much as I, distrust the way Facebook handles conservatives and privacy and all of that, I couldn't help but side with Facebook in that regard. When it came to what was going on, I saw it just as this, major circus, because again, the Dems were very single tracked. And then the Republicans, I thought, were coming from a position of, can we understand this space better? Can we apply our lessons based on what they want to why we need the Token Taxonomy Act? And I thought that there was, one side digging for answers and trying to figure out what Facebook was up to, and the other side could care less. What are your thoughts?
Well, the Democrats, what they believe is that it's good for them if nothing gets done, and really, I mean, it's inevitable and it's really here, as like a lot of the tweets that Brad Garlinghouse has been putting out today and yesterday. So as far as, I definitely agree with you in terms of, the questions, how they were being directed, and what they were actually referencing and stuff like that. I believe they're privy to a lot of information that we don't have. So, them coming down on Facebook as hard as they did, really has underlying tones to, what they actually know Facebook's really guilty of.
Yeah, that's it. And I'd like to know. I'd definitely like to know, what Facebook is really guilty of. One thing that can be, for sure, is that they monitor, different posts that people put up. I know a lot of people that ended up in the Facebook jail based on, posting actual factual content. It just didn't politically align with the thought police at Facebook. So here's the thing, that really gets me the most. One of the key points that Congress keeps bringing up, and a lot of people keep bringing up, is this privacy issue. That there was some breach of protocol by Facebook, and the issue that I have with that, and one of the reasons why I share what I share or don't share what I don't share on Facebook, is for the exact reason that Facebook is a free platform. We don't pay for it. It's written in their EULA guidelines that they can do whatever the hell they want to do with your information. They own your images. They own your content. And so why is anybody surprised when you post your information up there and it gets pulled down, or if you post your information up there and it gets used somehow by them, or, if they're sharing your information and your email and your content? Once you give that information to them, it's really theirs to do with as they please. And everybody signed off on that when they hit register for Facebook and when they set up a Facebook account. Again, it's a free provided service. So to me, it's just kind of funny, how Congress is going off on them, whereas at the same time, we see our information being sold by banks, by mortgage companies, as they flip our mortgages from company to company. We get tied up into, these endless mail campaigns by mortgage companies as soon as you get a mortgage or you live in a house, or, whatever it might be. The banks are guilty of it. The IRS was definitely guilty of collusion against conservatives. The list goes on, and so when then all of a sudden they single out Facebook, and I look at it and I can't help but laugh, because they're talking about something that is almost that doesn't it's not reality, whereas the mainstream media has been making shit up for eons now. They make up stories and they
Right.
twist
Yeah.
stories to their
Yeah.
agenda. What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, definitely. The media, it's legal for them to, mislead the public, and that should be a crime,
Yep.
But back to Facebook, I think it's the underlying issue is that once you accept that agreement, then the app is free to do whatever it wants. So it's beyond what you're willing to share and post, and with the world that they, you think they already, have the rights to because you're putting it out there, but underlyingly they are actually, snooping like Alexa,
Right.
for
Yep.
everything. Your,
Yep.
when all your search history just on, in another browser, another app or something,
Yep.
So they're definitely going way beyond what the public realizes, and I think that is part of the fuel.
Yeah, yep, I agree. Going beyond what people would anticipate, and really, I think what people are comfortable with, what I think everybody's finding out at this point. One of the reasons why I don't have an Amazon in the house, I don't have a Google in the house. I mean, so obviously, your phones could be listening because the phones are always turned on and listening. So I guess that's problematic to a point. Um, you really want to know what are they listening to, what are they observing, and how much of your content and conversations are they recording. And I guess that's definitely that's definitely an issue that they bring up regarding privacy. And then if we want to take it to that level now, they start focusing in on Libra coin. I think there was a distinct misunderstanding as well. There was definitely a
Yes,
distinct misunderstanding in terms of what
what it is.
especially what the Democrats thought of, or were I don't know, but, based on some of the line of questioning again, outside of their vengeance points. But I found that there were definitely they kept asking them about banking. And so
Mhm.
there's something that Facebook is covering up when it comes to Calibra and the Libra coin, obviously from a payment perspective. And one of the things that I've talked about a lot in this space is that there seems to be a blurring of the lines when it comes to exchanges and some of these payment spaces where they will begin to enter into this banking zone. And I think that maybe
Yeah,
that's what they're alluding to, but their line of questioning just didn't didn't align. What do you think?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be know your customer for a good majority of this, and so definitely they're going to have to be in the banking sphere with it. So, you know, I don't know in terms of like what they're going to do as far as like bundling assets, together. Because I mean, with Tether, it's no longer just pegged to the dollar. It's also got a basket of other assets that's included with that.
Right.
And I think Tether's poison. So in a lot of ways, that Libra is getting smacked down. Tether is pretty much going to put a hurting on Bitcoin at some point
Yeah. Yep.
when they decide to do away with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And that's something else that kind of came to light, while we're listening to all this unfold, is as they're attacking, Facebook over Calibra and Libra coin, and attacking their business statements or business plan or whatever it might be. It some of it kind of was reflecting on what they could then potentially do with the rest of the digital asset space. So
Right.
one of the things that I got out of this whole thing was that,
And not just digital
yeah,
access space, but also just regular currency.
yeah, yep,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it just when it comes to trust and and honesty and truthfulness, is listening to someone what those in Congress have to say can be a little issue, because that they're not necessarily all very sincere and truthful with their information. So that's definitely problematic to start with. Um,
Yeah, a
So
lot of this boils down to trust, and with Facebook, there is no trust. And with
that's it.
Tether, there's no trust. And,
Yep.
you know, I mean, you look at what all happened in the market, and over time with like Mt. Gox and with BitConnect and stuff like that, you have to kind of go, like, little tinfoil hat, was it all somehow, the same type of concept? They create the problems, they allow
Yep.
it to happen, then they can, put the hammer down on it and say no. And now they're kind of moving it into, Facebook and is I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. No. I mean, it's definitely a lot of this is going to unfold. My concern over this is that what we're seeing right now. One of the things that I get out of this is that the Federal Reserve has zero authority over what Facebook is doing, and what we're seeing is that Congress has really zero authority over what Facebook is doing. And the reason why I say that is because there's already, there are already companies out there that are doing exactly what Facebook says they want to do, which is create a payment plan. So if they attack Facebook, that means they need to go after everybody. But that also means, they're trying to frame it that they're creating a currency to compete with the U.S. dollar. And it was interesting that that some of the Democrats kept talking about national security. They kept singling out the disruption of the economy. They went back and they tried to focus in on Dodd-Frank and the what banks had done to lead up to the housing mortgage crisis. Obviously, that was just also not completely factual on how it all unfolded. But it's just a lot of fear mongering. But to me, it was going down a path that was a little dangerous from that perspective, that they're going to potentially single out other existing entities that are already in that space. And if they do find a way to go after Facebook, they'll find a way to go after everybody. Do you think that that's just being a little over fearful of what they're doing, or no?
I think that they were kind of painting crypto with a broad brush, to be honest. And when they were beating up on Facebook, they were raising questions they really have about the space because they don't fully understand everything.
Yep. Yeah, and I think it was Ted Budd, actually. Congressman Ted Budd came out and said he wanted to be very clear that there's a distinction between what Facebook is doing with LibreCoin and other digital assets, other cryptocurrencies. He said, like Bitcoin, and obviously he was alluding to others as well. But Ted Budd has been a big proponent and fighting for regulatory clarity in the digital asset space, and he's also signed on to the Token Taxonomy Act. So
yeah,
I thought,
that today.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Now, I think I was reading some points before. I think it was Sean Schaefer was saying that that towards the end they had mentioned Token Taxonomy Act a number of times. I kind of missed the very end of it. I don't know if you caught it at all.
Yeah.
Did you see the end of the hearings at all, or no?
No, actually, I didn't. No.
Okay. Yep. So, all right. I'm looking at some of these comments popping up. I just want to say, what's up to everybody that's logged in. Really glad to see you guys chatting away here. A lot of good comments. Also, let me see here. I did want to point out if he's still here. Let's see. First one on, Stinkin' Jenkins. If you're still on, let me know if you're still in the stream. If you are, throw in your Twitter so that you're first one in. So I'm going to throw over some free XRP your way. We've got DNI in this stream. Great stream tonight as well, DNI. I caught most of it. It's outstanding. So here's one. Let me see. This from WildStar. All of the sponsors of the Token Taxonomy Act on the committee mentioned it and the need for regulation. So I'm glad WildStar brought that up. So that is a great takeaway. That when we see that, really, somebody else had said it, I don't remember exactly who it was, but Congress really can't do anything. And the reason why they can't do anything because there's really no regulation on the books for them to do anything with Facebook, for some of the reasons why we're just saying, is that they really haven't done anything yet out of the ordinary, outside of even, what PayPal has done, or, really, what Ripple is doing, with XRP, or what Stellar is doing, or, with XLM, and partnered with IBM. So, there isn't that big of a distinction. The only thing that is their animosity too, and really some of the fear of what XRP has represented in the what Facebook has represented, and also what the fact that Facebook has exposure to 2.6 billion people instantly. So,
well, I don't know. That's kind of a larger number than what I believe they actually have active.
Yeah, that's what they.
I do believe that was kind of used as a term, or a number rather, for adoption in a sense.
Yep. So, hey, here's a good question.
It's a bit low, but not everybody handles the finance for a family.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, even they have their active users, and then really how many of their active users are going to, actually use and go on and use this through WhatsApp and whatever. I mean, really their business plan is going after the unbanked, those that are, foreign workers in different countries, just like Stellar talks about with XLM. They're targeting a different market. Those that are using WhatsApp. I think that's important, So, hey, so let's see. There was a question that was posted here. Hang on. We go up. Oh, this is from Bubba Shipes. Gaming crypto with your name. Are you into any gaming tokens? Casino token by any chance?
Yeah, I like Casino Coin.
Casino Coin. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they're working with regulators, so that, in my opinion, is a good thing. So.
Yep. And then so is that where you got the name from, gaming crypto?
Where did grew up on video games.
Okay.
And it was kind of a big thing. So.
Awesome. Yeah. Where do you see the space going in terms of video games? I mean, I see that there's such a huge utility within that space.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, it can be so wild, in terms of, you can integrate like a coil-like system into a game. So you can actually have a game where players are playing and people are actually watching it, because the games could be almost like a movie in themselves, like watching like my nephew play. I trained him, and oh man, he is awesome. And, yeah, I mean, it's like watching a movie, a lot of these, and there's some entertainment factor there, I mean, you look at all the people that now do the Twitch and stuff like that. So, there's a big thing with people playing games and reacting and watching, and so the space can be huge. As far as casinos, I mean, Casino Coin has the world's largest roulette table maker, and they're using a token off of the CSC platform to carry data. It's not really a money maker, but it's it's going to be it's going to be fair, balanced, transparent. Everything is very encouraging, really, because items could be put on the blockchain. So like in like a massive role playing game, online role playing. You can have certain items in the world that there's only certain copies of, and nobody can, glitch make another one, because you would actually technically own it, and, everybody could actually, see it or whatnot. Yeah. So, I mean, it's truly, it's going to be groundbreaking. I think that the gaming industry really could push a lot of the blockchain innovation, to be honest. But I know there's a lot of other like coins out there that do gaming and stuff like that. But what I liked about Casino Coin was that, they work with regulators. They have a working product. They have a wallet. The Discord is very helpful.
Yeah.
So and it's based off of Ripple. So that was another reason I initially looked at it.
That's very cool. Yeah. Hey, just real quick, Stinkin' Jenkins, is your Twitter stinking __ Jenkins? Just give me a yes or a no. That'd be awesome. Just want to make sure I've got the right one. before I shoot this over.
But now with the space in terms of Facebook, now I eventually see Facebook could have a coin, because all platforms are eventually going to have their own little walled garden, and luckily with XRP being a bridge asset, I think big things are in store for XRP. It's not like the other ones. I mean, the price has been held down. We all know it's been held down.
Right.
But when they're ready to let it go, I think it's gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there's definitely other things. Here we go. Hang on, I'm gonna shoot Stinkin' Jenkins some XRP. There we go. Bam, on its way. Also want to say thank you to Spanish Cobra for the super chat. And a quick question there: XRP FUD at a new all-time high. Why is that? I think there's always some FUD in the XRP space, and it seems to be, as XRP doesn't move, then people get negative. I think that's really what it's all about. People just want instant gratification at this point. We see other things going up and XRP doesn't, and people are going to get upset. Right.
Absolutely, yeah. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. Awesome.
And thank you for everybody coming in tonight. The 32 people here. I really appreciate each and every one of y'all.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I definitely, it's great. I see, the engagement that we get in these chats are outstanding. I watch the comments go, and there's so much growth and, things to learn from each other in this space. I don't know much about Casino Coin. I like your thought process also on what the digital asset space and blockchain can really bring to gaming overall, and the video game space, like you said, there's so much growth potential there, and that space is still, ever going up. It doesn't seem to be dropping down. So
no, not at all. Absolutely, it's definitely going to be much bigger than it already is.
Yep, exactly. So awesome. All right, man. I really appreciate you coming on. I want to bring Crypto Sifu in. I definitely want to have you back on again, because I want to do a segment specifically on the gaming space. I think there's a ton that we can talk about there.
Yeah, hey, I'd love to come on. I love your show. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I appreciate you coming on. That was awesome. So, hey, that was Gaming Crypto XRP, everybody. Look for him in the chats. He's always participating and always providing great feedback, great comment. Now we're gonna bring in Crypto Sifu. We're gonna have him call on here in a second. I just need to make a few changes here, and we will get his Twitter put in, and then as we wait for him to call in, we will get things going here. Let me check. This is I haven't done this before, trying to get multiple people in and switching people out, so it might take a second. So I know Gaming Crypto just left the chat, and so now we're waiting for Crypto Sifu to call in. It might take him a second. After we do it this way, here we go. We got Crypto Sifu calling in. Let me put him on the line. Here we go. All right, I think we've got Crypto Sifu with us on the line.
You do. You absolutely do. Call me Jim, Jeff.
Jim, there we go.
Call me Jim.
Jim.
Don't call me Jim Jeff. That might get a little confusing.
Just a little bit. Yeah, Sifu Jim. All right, I'll call you Jim. So, all right, we got Jim on the line with us, man. It's great to put voices to to everybody. I get the feedback in the chats, and see you in the XRP Zoo, and it's great to finally talk to you.
Absolutely. I've been following you on YouTube for a while now, and seeing you in the occasionally on Twitter and such, and you bring a great take on things to the space, and I really enjoy your content.
Man, I appreciate that a lot. I really do. One thing that I like to do, when the first time I bring somebody on, I definitely like to know just a little bit, since we haven't had a chance to talk before, finding out, how long you've been in this space, and kind of how you found the space, getting into digital asset XRP.
I used to be a tech, basically a security guy. But for the last 15 years, I've been driving truck, and I trained students. And I was fortunate enough to get a student on the truck, and we got to talking about crypto about, well, I want to say it was May of 2017, and we started talking about it. And he had been mining different stuff. He started out mining Bitcoin and got into altcoins a little bit. But he basically broke it all down for me, because I tinker on the side, but I'm just not active in the IT space anymore.
Okay.
So he broke it all down for me, and by July of 2017, I was mining Ether. And so I spent a few months, and I built up several miners. I don't know, somewhere between 25 and 30 GPUs I had running.
Wow.
And yeah, as the market, and then of course I watched my electric bill go up. And after January of 2018, I watched Ether go down. So
Right.
I was kind of exploring the space, and there were a couple of people that I ran into on YouTube and such, and got interested in Ripple and started studying the use case and versus some of these others that I was looking at, and it just made perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, and here I am now.
Awesome. That's awesome, man. Yeah. What are your thoughts about all this turmoil going on with Facebook?
Well, the thing is, and I haven't caught much of these hearings, just excerpts, because I've been running nights the last couple of days. So I'm kind of going back and listening to bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But I am, without telling too much detail, I'm old enough that I've heard probably 20 or 25 or 30 years of congressional hearings on one subject or another,
Right.
to understand that you can't pay too much attention. It's kind of like in The Wizard of Oz, pay no attention to the man behind the curtains.
Yep.
There's something else going on here. And, granted, there's, sorry about that. There's, certainly some issues with Facebook being as big as they are and having access to as many people throughout the globe as they do. But
Right.
there's definitely something else going on here. They're keeping under their hats, and they're doing so. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors going on, from what I can tell, and listening to you and Gaming Crypto. They start to allude to something, and then they get back to their script. The Republicans are doing their thing, the Democrats are doing their thing, and then every once in a while, somebody starts to let the cat out of the bag, and then they get back to their script.
That's
So,
right, man. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it just tells me that there's a lot more going on here, and this issue's running a lot deeper than, of course, we're aware, which is, I can't speak for the rest of the world, but for the USA, that's nothing new,
Yeah. Yep. That's it, man. And it's crazy because as I put it on today, and that was probably a mistake. I probably shouldn't have been listening to it, but I wanted to hear the play-by-play just as I was doing yesterday, and my phone's constantly ringing and I calls to make, and I've got this playing in the background. But I managed to get some of the notes, and this is what was just the continuous message from the Democrat side. Miss Congresswoman Maloney, she said, "Will you abide by Maxine Waters?" And I kind of like underscoring some of the terminology they use. Just like we've talked about how how they're manipulating the terminology, but abide. Basically. They're the authority. Maxine Waters, whatever she says is the authority. You got to listen to what. Will you abide by Maxine Waters? Will you submit to 1 million user test pilot? Using abide and submit. Like they're nothing. Meaning that Congress is the one to dictate. And what I get out of that is just a bunch of BS. Here's these Congress congressional representatives that should be working for us and representing the people. And instead of asking questions about and trying to find more about what their intent is, they were just, really worried about, getting them to submit to their, to whatever their whim is, And so I look at it, that's what I was saying, earlier, with gaming crypto. It's like, I have a lot of concern over privacy issue, but you can't be surprised because Facebook is a free platform. I don't see Facebook as a platform where I share everything, and I definitely don't see that as my resource of news. But, at the same point, if you get into a payment space, privacy, security, KYC, AML become very serious. To me, I'm watching these representatives and I look at Maloney and I look at these others. I'm like, you know what? You have members of your Congress in your own party that support fascism, that are anti-capitalist, that, don't, support the growth of business to begin with. But yet, and you're, over here pointing your fingers and wagging your fingers at everybody instead of asking questions, and then, there was one more question that came up, and this was from Ann Wagner, and she said, though Ann Wagner was actually this was actually a pretty spot on question. Hang on, there was another one from, I guess I missed out, but Ann Wagner came up and she says, let's see, this had to do with protecting the U.S. dollar, protecting the U.S. geopolitical interests, keeping Libra from being used to circumvent sanctions, prevent Libra from being used for illegal use. And then it came back to KYC, AML, and I just thought that was really interesting, this distinct difference, so, and that's, just a final point, get your opinion on this. The Democrats, again, telling him that he's bad, and that Facebook's wrong, trying to control their business, basically, just talking points. But at the end of the day, I felt like they were again lecturing. They weren't asking questions, but there's something that they're afraid of, and it has nothing to do with Libra Coin, competing or developing any further. There's something else that they're afraid of. And it's just interesting.
Well, the funny thing is, Jeff, data mining's been going on for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Right.
But Facebook has kind of set the standard for the 21st century.
Yep.
And they're huge. And there's probably no end to the amount of information they've collected.
Right.
And sorted and compiled and so forth. And so, yeah. But at the end of the day, everybody's got an agenda. Everybody in that room had an agenda. And me as an American citizen, I want to know what everybody's agenda is. What is your angle? What's the point of dragging Facebook in? What's the point of regulating Facebook or, jumping into action finally when you get an announcement from Facebook where, Ripple's been working with government for some time and regulators and so forth. And it took, this huge tech company saying they were going to do. What is it? What's behind the motivation here?
Yeah.
That's, I'm nosy that way. Call me old fashioned.
Right. Exactly. Check this comment up here from Bubba Shive. Said, just think in the last 3 weeks, our little journey went from YouTube and Twitter to the president, Federal Reserve chairman, Commerce secretary, and Congress, all to discuss it like they want it handled now. It's been going on for a couple of years, and now all of a sudden it's like, we got to do it immediately.
Yeah, I think it's been going on behind the scenes for a while because we know Ripple's been semi-vocal about working with regulators and how important they thought it was. Yep. And I totally agree with them. I'm not a big fan of big government. I'm not a big fan of big banks. But at the end of the day, if you remove one power, people don't trust themselves to manage themselves. They want to be governed. So if, sooner or later, you'll wind up with another form of governance. So, toppling one form of governance one form of governance is not going to change anything. It's just going to change the names and the faces.
Right. Yeah.
So, I like change through innovation.
Yeah.
I think you can create more change from the inside. It just makes sense to me. Of course, I'm 50. I'm not 20 anymore. When I was 20, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
But now it makes more sense to work with people and try to steer them where you want to go rather than knock them plumb off the tracks.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, that's great.
So, question for you, Jeff. How's your Yeti coin doing? I heard a rumor today that Craig Wright is backing a Sasquatch SB coin.
Yeah,
Something about tokenizing pancakes for lumberjacks in the Pacific Northwest.
I know, it's super problematic, and that's why we're all about the Yeti coin and OTC. So, 100%. I don't know about this Yeti baby. I don't know about the, the Yeti Nakamoto nonsense, but it's strictly about Yeti coin, and that's it. So all these other comments in here, these are all just fraudsters and shillers. So don't worry about what they say.
Well, like I said Craig Wright. So
yep.
He wants this Sasquatch Satoshi Vision coin.
That's right.
All the tokenized pancakes for lumberjacks. So
you gotta love that. Hey, just real quick, AJ, Ajax, Anthony Jackson, all the way from somewhere up in Canada. He said, "This is awesome. First time I get to support my brother Sifu and Jeff on the same stream." He threw out a super chat here of 20 Canadian, 20 large Canadian.
Sweet.
So yeah, that's awesome. Definitely appreciate that.
AJ's the man. He a couple of months ago he adopted me on Twitter, and he's a good guy. One of the nicest rat bags I've ever met.
And then we've got let's see here. Hang on as we go down the list. One of the things that Chip brought up again, about the Dem Party, said there's anti-Semites in the Dem Party. Pretty clear. I think there's so much going on right now. Is that they're never going to call out themselves, and there's just too many issues. It's just constant. I feel like they want to keep us guessing all the time. And nobody wants to reveal the facts, the truth. And, at the end of the day, I feel like, they're only going to do things that are going to benefit themselves personally and enrich themselves in some way, shape, or form. And also they're going to do something that is going to expedite their re-election in 2020. I think a lot of what they're doing right now has to do with that and appeasing certain lobbyists. That are pressing on them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so much for the smoke and mirrors that I have a hard time staying engaged with these talks and the articles that come out in regards to them.
Yeah.
It's everything's an editorial and everybody's got an agenda. I couldn't tell you the last time I saw real news, but it was absolutely before 9/11. Before I saw, since the last time I've seen anything that resembled real news. Yeah.
I mean, they like to. It always has an agenda and always a slant. That's for sure, and especially when it comes to this space, it's really interesting, where we have all these different sides. And here's another comment that came out, and I just see this as more fear mongering. Yet the government has responsibility in the financial meltdown of 2008 and the mortgage crisis. They're the ones that kind of led and opened the doors to allow that to happen, yet they won't acknowledge it. But this was Congressman Meeks was comparing Bear Stearns and the government. They're comparing Bear Stearns and the global crisis, that they obviously had good intent and they didn't anticipate that they would trigger this global crisis, obviously leaving out the government aspect. But then he also then tried to compare that with Facebook not knowing what they're doing, and that Facebook is going to cause the next global crisis.
I really have a problem with that line of thinking for so many reasons. Um, but no, I don't think Facebook's app going to cause um, the next global crisis. I think Deutsche Bank could be one of the dominoes in that. But I actually, I'm no Facebook and I parted ways long ago. It was a great platform initially, especially with all the malware that was available for your PC on MySpace.
Right.
Facebook offered something a little safer, and it was a great platform initially, but it's grown into something that I didn't care for. I had two groups, very large groups on Facebook at one time. One was a conservative talking group, We the People, and
Okay.
another was an animal rights group. And I can remember both of them being shut down for no apparent reason that I could ever see. Being locked out for 30 days here and there.
Yeah.
And so at one point I just got fed up and I parted ways with Facebook, and that's probably been 2012, 2013 maybe. So it's been quite a while, yeah.
Yep.
But no, I don't think Facebook now, they're big enough, and certainly were they given enough rope, they could probably challenge some of the banking system, but I don't think they could cause a financial crisis.
No, I mean, it's, they can, what they're going to do. And I think, it's really what government is, and Congress is looking at is the 2.6 billion users, active users that they claim to have. I think that's what scares everyone. It scares them that, that this is, already in place, that they see what they've been able to do, attracting people. If they want to send messages out, they've somehow, at least they claim that they manipulated people's, voting outcome, based on ads that appeared on Facebook. And, but the key here is they run WhatsApp. They own WhatsApp. They own Instagram. They're expanding their presence, and WhatsApp is what it's all about. It has nothing to do with Facebook, nothing to do with Messenger. This whole Calibra and the Libra coin is all about WhatsApp. That's going to be the connection. It's moving money in between individuals, and at the end of the day, from that purpose, from that perspective, they're in some way, shape, or form then, circumventing the big banks who are the big lobbyists, overseeing Congress, where they no longer have to go through a Western Union. They don't have to go to the banks. They don't have to do anything. They just go WhatsApp. I'm going to send money to my family, and that's it. And that's part of what they're afraid of, because that is a cash cow. Facebook knows it. Visa knows it. MasterCard knows it.
Yeah.
All those organizations that are participating know it. What's that?
The reach is almost a third of the global population, or right at a third.
Exactly. So if they get just a small percentage.
That's ginormous.
Yep. So the question is, how many people use WhatsApp? I don't know what that number is. I'm sure we could look it up. But that's the key. Facebook is bringing, Facebook, and I think that's what everybody missed in the whole conversation, is that it really isn't about Facebook. It's all about WhatsApp. It's all about how people communicate in other countries, because that's the way you communicate from other countries. It's all about WhatsApp, and I think that's the most important part.
I got a stat for you. Key statistics: WhatsApp has 1.5 billion users from 180 countries.
There you go. So, that's all that matters.
That's huge.
That's the only thing that matters.
That's a fifth of the global population.
Yep.
And if you get peer-to-peer money sending on WhatsApp, that'll increase exponentially.
Exactly.
There's no doubt about it.
That's it. Yep. That's an easy, very, very easy app to use, and people are already using it. To me, that's what it's all about, and they kind of missed the boat on it. The other question that kept creeping up that I thought was interesting had to do with this was mostly from the Republican side. they kept saying, why Switzerland? Why are you moving the headquarters to Switzerland? Why not in the U.S.? And what they were hinting at was, tell us why you're not going to be in the U.S. because it all has to do with there's no regulation. They're afraid to, it's not a crypto-friendly place at this moment. It's not a fintech-friendly place at this moment. That going over to Switzerland is blockchain-friendly, is cryptocurrency-friendly, and that's why they want to be there. He didn't even, I was surprised that he didn't really come out and say that. He's basically kept, dancing around the issue, but the Republicans wanted him to say that because they asked him that multiple times. Why not in the United States, and why not use the good old U.S. dollar? Why are you using a basket of currencies? And from Facebook's perspective, most people in the U.S. don't know what WhatsApp is, and they don't use WhatsApp. It's something that's used overseas, and that's their market. Really, at the end of the day, when Marcus was sitting there, he was sitting there pretty smug because he knew that they're opening this business over in, they're going to open it over in Switzerland. They're going to do what they can to abide by, some of the regulation that does pop up in the U.S. They definitely want to, make sure they're implementing KYC and AML. But at the end of the day, if they didn't operate in the U.S., I think they would do just fine. And I think they know that too. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. And, it's, the world's getting smaller, and so tech and the internet and these messaging platforms have really shrunk the world for us. I mean, I've been using WhatsApp for a number of years. I had IRCs up until 2 years ago, and some of my admin and ops moderators were in England, and some of them were in Germany, and they had to be able to reach me at any time if there was a problem with one of my servers.
Right.
I've been using WhatsApp for a long time, and it's just somebody sends me a message, and it's just like texting, one of my kids over in Michigan. It doesn't matter, England, Germany. So, just think of the possibility if you're moving money with that, moving value with that. That gives Facebook a hell of a leg up.
It really does, and so I think that's the missing link, that they didn't focus in on, and that's if they asked the right questions in Congress, they would have got the right answers, but they didn't even go down that path. Just want to give a quick shout out. Just quickly, I just want to give a quick shout out to the Beacon Depot. I think the Beacon Depot is Bubba Shipes. I believe that's it gets confusing when there's all these different Twitter names. And then so Beacon Depot, shout out for some XRP that was sent over. Steven Ship threw over some XRP, and Zbits threw over some XRP. So we got a little collection going here. And then we can Bubba Shipes cleaned out his account. That's it. No more XRP tip bot for you.
Well, I've said it before, and we have a great community. But the thing is we're seeking regulation in a digital world from an analog body of regulators. And, there's some incompatibility issues here. So they're going to stumble and they're going to fail. And eventually, I hope regulation will catch up with what's going on in the real world. But, I forget, what is it? The average age of a regulator is over 60 for sure, I'm sure. Isn't it? 62, 63?
Probably. Oh.
So, yeah, they're analog people trying to get their head around a digital world, and there's going to be issues.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going down the list here. There's just so many interesting statements that came out. Trying to find another one. Let's see here. I thought so. Yeah, that was McHenry kept asking, about Switzerland and all of that. Let me see here. Oh, you know what else this was really interesting that came out kind of as a side note. This came out a couple days ago. Somebody had asked earlier about all the FUD that keeps getting spread in the XRP community or XRP regarding XRP in general. Hey, Whitefly, what's up? Hey, good to see you, Juan. I haven't seen you here in a long time. I know you're around, but it's always good when you comment. A long time might have been like a week. So this was Marcus Treacher tweeted, powered by Ripple, and great to see this important payment corridor go live. This was a post that came up from Jeremy Light. Not sure who he is, just an enthusiast. But it was interesting because I think Marcus Treacher he's from Ripple, right? I believe Marcus is from Ripple, and he was retweeting Jeremy Light. But the tweet had to do with Santander, UK's OnePay FX app, now supports payments to Poland from the UK, no fees, best exchange rate, smooth payment experience, zero cost. And then he put up an image transferring £100 to Polish whatever. I don't know what the Polish currency is. And zero transfer cost with a reasonable exchange rate. So I thought that was super impressive. And the fact that they're using Ripple now to do that. So just one more. Ripple keeps, adding more and more and more. The one thing that we're not hearing about, and I think this is where the FUD comes from, is that we're not hearing that, these corridors are utilizing XRP.
Yeah, and I think that's just going to be one of those things. It's kind of like, you ever watch popcorn being made at the movie theater?
Yep.
It starts with, there's nothing in the bottom of that big glass tank. Right. And then it just starts percolating up, and pretty soon it's 3/4 full. And I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, there is volume on the ledger, so it's just not massive right now.
Right.
The locomotive was a fantastic invention, but it could only go as far as the tracks.
Yep, exactly.
And so they had to build the rail system for it. They had to create an infrastructure. And then with the infrastructure, if you build it, they'll come. And Ripple has taken that to a whole new 21st century level.
That's right.
They're just developing a whole ecosystem. And the ecosystem Ripple's working on is totally three-dimensional. It's not in any way is it two-dimensional, because they've got all these side projects going on as well. So
yeah. It's impressive. It's really amazing. Yeah, it's unreal, when we see this, see what's happening overall, and like you said, before, and as we look at these projects and we look at what Ripple is accomplishing, you look at a lot of the NDAs that have been signed out there. You look at overall, and Gaming Crypto brought this up, that they're holding the value of XRP down. A lot of the big trades, from within the banks, within the financial institutions, are all going through OTC. They're definitely not going to go through the exchanges. Moving that kind of money, especially when some of this is in the test phase, they're not going to want that kind of exposure. And as they bring it all together, I think when they have all the pieces of the puzzle together, I think that's when they'll potentially turn this switch on, when everybody's going to say, okay, hey, by the way, we're going to start using XRapid, when they start piecing everybody together. So it's not just a couple, and in the meantime, they're probably testing it out, but it's hard to tell. Someone had asked that question, how can you tell the volume that's moving because of XRapid? And I don't think you can. I don't think there's visibility to that.
I don't know. Can you see it on that XRP site?
That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know that we can. Maybe someone knows, but I don't know if there's something specific to XRapid. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, I don't know if it's specific to XRapid, but I think XRP charts, I think you can see some of the volume.
Yeah, you can probably see the XRP volume, but do we know that it's as a direct result of XRP? or X Rapid, utility of X Rapid. That's the key.
Yeah, I don't know. I usually wait for Galgatron to post charts and explain what he's looking at.
Yeah. So WildStar says you can only see transactions on the ledger. You cannot differentiate the transactions by X Rapid. So that to me is interesting, because if you could, if we could start to see, are they, using that, if there's a mechanism in place, and I'm sure there is, somewhere they must have the mechanism. They know who's utilizing that software feature. So I'm wondering if there's something out there that could then, on this on the XRP tracker, I'm sure they could probably turn on a segment and say, oh, by the way, this is how much money is transacting through our software solution X Rapid. And this is what it's doing.
I'm sure there's a front end facing site and a back end facing site. Something the public gets to see and something Ripple's looking at. So there's no doubt that they have access to information we don't, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I follow their progress in, #0doubt.
Yep.
I'm perfectly comfortable with what they're doing and where they're trying to go.
Yep. No, and to me, it's time. It's just we're watching it. I looked at it from day one as a speculative investment. I saw amazing upside potential, and I said, you know what, this is gonna, it's got to go one or two ways. It's either gonna be amazing or it's not gonna do anything. And I'm leaning towards the amazing part. But that's
more and more it's looking that way. I mean, just some of the people they rub elbows with, and they're comfortable speaking with, to me says a lot.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's it. And the other part of that is, I know that they're in Congress quite a bit. I know that they, are, speaking and educating, and there's been a lot of conversation. So I think that is, part of, this whole rollout. And I think that's, we started to see, and that's one of the points that I noticed, when Ayanna Pressley was speaking with Jerome Powell. She seemed very well coached and educated. And that's one of the points that Warren Davidson's office took upon themselves, was to educate other people in the space. And the one thing that they had told me specifically was that when they do have this hearing, they're not going to have the same embarrassment that they had, the last time. They were going to try to educate as many people as they possibly could. And we definitely saw, some of that happening. And at the same time, obviously, we saw some that didn't really care. And I think someone above, I don't remember who it was, I would have to scroll all the way back up, mentioned that the Shermanator was out there making an ass of himself. And I completely missed the Shermanator speaking. I wish I would have heard it. But
yeah, that's unfortunate. But, like I said, that falls back to agenda. Everybody in that room has an agenda.
Yeah.
Just, the question is, whose agenda aligns with Ripple's and aligns with ours as XRP investors?
Yep.
So.
Yep. Exactly. So, hey, you know what? We're right here. We're actually beyond the hour. I think I want to try to keep it to an hour. So, man, it was really a pleasure having you on the chat tonight. It was great talking to you in person. I hope we'll be able to do this again.
Thank you, really.
Yeah, my intent, and it's funny because I started the Sunday night open mic night, and then I was thinking, I was like, you know what, this is awesome. I love reaching out to the community. I love bringing other people on the show. Sometimes it's a lot more engaging. I think everybody watching really enjoys it as well when you get this kind of chat going on. So I'm going to try to do this more and more. I'm actually working on bringing a blockchain company on. I've been talking to them about bringing them on a live stream as well. And so I'm looking forward to that. And then, as always, man, I just appreciate everybody else in the community that has participated. Again, Jim, thanks for coming on. It was absolutely awesome.
I appreciate all of your research and all the information you bring to the space, Jeff. It was my pleasure.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. So I'll look forward to having you on again. And the final note here, it looks like Chip has thrown that out. Who's down with OTC? That's what we want to know.
Man,
So
I'm so down with OTC and Yeti coin.
and
Craig
Yeti
Wright
coin.
can keep a Sasquatch SB.
Yeah, that's right. I agree. So yeah, we'll stay tuned for all that. What's today? Wednesday. Chip will be streaming tomorrow night. Maybe he'll talk a little bit more about Yeti coin. I'll be streaming again Saturday morning at 8 a.m. And then I'll be doing another open mic on Sunday. And then we've got, let's see, Friday night. Is Rain in here? Rain, are you streaming Friday night? Rain's going to be streaming Friday night. And then if DNI is still here, DNI is going to be streaming, as always, 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And actually, in a few weeks, I'm hoping to get an opportunity to meet up with DNI in person. And when we do, hopefully we'll be able to manage to get a live stream together, or at least a video, and share that with the community. So look out for all that great stuff. Again, thanks for everybody coming on and participating, and we'll see you on the next show, 8 a.m. Saturday morning. Thanks again.
See you there, Jeff.
All right,
God
man.
bless.
Thanks. Yep. God bless you too. Take care.